Welcome, Mike, to the 2010 Clubhouse here at Celtic Manor. I guess we should start this in the normal way, so please introduce yourself.
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Mike Bowden, served in the Royal Air Force as a fast jet pilot for 17 years. And in my last 5 years of that career, managed to achieve my boyhood dream of becoming a Red Arrows display pilot. At which point, finished my career there. Boyhood dream done, massive smiles. And have moved to here locally in Cardiff with my beautiful wife Leanne and my 3 children. Settled down here now as an airline pilot and a very average but keen golfer here at the Celtic Manor Resort, Wales.
Tell me a bit about your journey into being a pilot. How do you get going in that?
Yeah, I think everyone at a young age has some sort of, eventually sees something, they go, oh, do you know what? I really fancy doing that. And I suppose that light bulb came for me at quite an early age with my dad being in the military and the Air Force as an engineer. And he took us to an air show down at St Athens. So it's only about half an hour here, just outside Cardiff Airport. And I was fascinated. I remember there being there kind of pick your jaw up moments, watching these fast jets come through. The rules were a bit more lenient back then. So they're 100 feet with afterburners in, making loads of noise, really close to the crowd. And then right at the end of that day, on came the Red Arrows. Never seen them before, wasn't entirely sure what it was all about, but I remember just watching, I must have been about 8 or 9 years old, in absolute awe of these guys going upside down with smoke coming out, doing things that you just didn't think looked humanly possible for aeroplanes to go and do. And literally from that moment, my light bulb was switched on, and that was it. That's what I wanted to go and do as a boy. And I chased that right up until the day that somehow that dream came true and I put a red suit on. A lot happened between that little boy, 8 years old, to the boy in his mid-30s putting a red suit on, but the dream never changed. And I feel incredibly lucky to be able to sit here, next to my helmet, talking to you about some of those experiences, because it truly, truly is a dream come true.
So, Mike, in what ways, or are there ways, that being in the RAF and the Red Arrows, what things can you transfer from one to the other when it comes to being on the golf course?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I'd say it's actually probably our motto. So our motto in the Red Arrows was éclate, which French for excellence. And our big thing in the Red Arrows was realizing you can never be perfect. The moment you think you're perfect, you're done. It's like anything, isn't it? If the initial iPhone was the ultimate iPhone and there was nothing that could ever replace it, we wouldn't go through the generations and the iterations, there's nowhere to go. Very much like us in the Red Arrows, the moment you think you're perfect, you're done, because there's always room for improvement. There is no such thing as perfect. You've got to strive for excellence, get as close as you can, but know that you'll never actually ever get there. And I suppose golf's very much the same. I can come and play my best round. I could go and shoot 2 under around here, which isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But even then I'd come off and I'd be the happiest lad in the world. But this game, it's always against yourself. There's always room for improvement. And no matter what, you can always be better. So I think that's the 2 things you can translate, and that's why I see a bit the same. It's you against yourself, trying to be the best that you can. Lots and lots of practice makes you better, but you're never going to be perfect.
So you mentioned we've got the suit here and the helmet. So first thing that you can see, I can see from here, is you got number 3 on the back of the helmet. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So in the Red Arrows, there's 9 positions. So 9 pilots that will fill those positions, and for that particular season, you maintain that number, you maintain that position, and that is yours. It's a highly trained role, each of those positions, so there is no backup. There's no substitute pilot that can come in and fill any of those positions. For my last season, I filled the red 3 position here, so you can see 3's on the back of the helmet, and no one else would do that. So if I spun it round, you can see the front, there's the trademark Diamond 9, with my position highlighted in red within the diamond. So yeah, you'd get allocated your number for the year, you train to that number. We train hard in that position to make the team work. And it's not a given that we get to jump into that red suit. We fly in traditional Air Force green grow bags, as they look like, as most of the pilots in the Air Force wear. But it's not until probably about a 6 or 7 month training period of flying 3 times a day, 5 times a week. Lots of stress and strains of trying to get that performance as close to excellent as we can. And then once the chiefs come and watch us and deem that we're an acceptable level to display to the public, do we earn that red suit? And earning that for the first time and putting it on is quite an incredible moment of feeling.
So how long were you in the RAF and then the Reds for?
So my career spanned over 17 years. I started an instructor role at a young age. So I was in my early 20s, flying £1 million fast jet and guys that weren't far behind me. So I know what was as a creamy as an instructor, through the Harrier and the Tornado, and then eventually the Red Arrows. That spanned over 17 years, my career. And yeah, my last tour, the Red Arrows, which was genuinely a boyhood dream to go and do it. Never thought I'd achieve it. Got to wear the red suit, did it for 5 seasons in the end. And it was just the right and a beautiful way to bow out of service life. You know, felt I'd done everything I wanted to do, had a massive smile on my face, ticked loads of boxes. And yeah, felt like I'd done everything I possibly could. So yeah, it was time for a new challenge.
And so you're flying commercially now? How's that?
Yeah, so I moved to the commercial world, and again, very, very different. You know, you're flying around in a multi-million pound fast jet on your own, upside down in front of, you know, sometimes tens of thousands of people on a beach. And now I'm taking people on holiday, which, yeah, it's very different ends of the spectrum, but they've both got their own challenges, you know. So the Hawk aircraft, an old aeroplane we used to fly in the Red Arrows, no automatics in it, nothing you can press to go, I'll take my hands off and just take it nice and easy here. You know, even when we're flying it all the way to China, we have to manually fly the aeroplane. You know, you're trimming it out and stuff, but there's nothing that will automatically take over for you. Whereas you then move into the commercial world, and instead of having a stick between your legs and a throttle on the side, you've now got a big yoke that you're flying with, and a load of automatics that you'll use to actually control the aeroplane in flight. Because, yeah, you know, doing these long journeys in those big aeroplanes and have to fly it the whole way would be quite demanding and quite challenging.
So you never feel like sort of just popping in a quick sort of barrel roll or loop-the-loop or anything?
Oh, well, the G&Ts would be everywhere, and yeah, I think I'd have a big old bill through the post and a bit of a slap on the wrists, as much as I'd love to. So that's the bit I miss in terms of the adrenaline, the excitement of doing, you know, low-level aerobatics in a team and in a high-performing aeroplane. But I got it all out of my system. I did it for years.
Yeah.
I look back and smile at it, and you know, I feel lucky to have gone and sort of sailed in that ship as such, and had the experience and fulfilled a boyhood dream. So it's great now. You know, this is a much better sort of in terms of family life and being at home with the kids and watching them grow up, while still being able to fly. And at times it can be a really demanding day and difficult weather, and you know, making sure we all make sensible and correct decisions. And you know, clearly safety is first in any flying that you do. And I've really enjoyed that challenge, working in a more sort of crew environment. It's not just the 2 pilots up front, you know, you've got the crew down the back, the passengers, the ground handlers, air traffic control, you know, a lot more to deal with, more teams to bring into play. So, yeah, I've equally enjoyed that challenge as well.
So tell me a bit more about your sort of your golf journey then. When did you start playing golf?
Yeah, I can remember being invited by some friends at school, having never really appreciated what golf is. I can remember hitting a tee shot off the tee, walking about 20 yards clearly to where my golf ball all it really achieved, and then getting a tee back out my pocket and teeing it up in the fairway and putting a ball on top. They went, "No, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you know, what the hell?" I kind of get into grips with the game, I haven't got a clue. But from that moment, I was like, what a great way of just being in the open, doing a sport where you're out in the outdoors, with your mates, having a laugh. And I think from that moment onwards, from a young school age right the way through, I've always had an enjoyment of the game. And then ever since university and into the Air Force, that kind of stayed with me all the way through. And for me, it's the socialising and being with people is just as important as being out there and doing the game. You know, in fresh air, in great conditions, switch the mind off from everything else in life and just focus on the golf and your mates and having a good time. There's not many places you can go and do that for 4 hours and switch the rest of the world out.
And so obviously we're here with Stewart Golf. So you've got your new 2025 Q Series, one of one custom model just for you, but it's not your first Stewart product, is it? So contrast playing golf with the trolley as against before it or carrying or however else you would have played.
Yeah, it's hard to put it into words that. As much as you think people that have a human caddy and someone alongside them, how you can replicate that into something that isn't a human, and get as close as you possibly can, which is somehow, I really still don't understand how you've managed to do it, but you have. And it's hard to put it into words that you've got this thing that's following you wherever you go, that you almost switch off from it. You can have conversation with your friends. I almost forget that I've got a trolley following me down the fairway with all my golf clubs and everything else in it. It's only then when you come to a stop and turn around, oh, it's still with me. You know, you get so used to having that thing follow you everywhere you go. It has been absolutely game changer. I can't imagine playing a round of golf without it. It's got to that point where it gives you just so much more freedom to be able to drink a coffee, to chat with your friends, to just focus on the walking the fairways and enjoying the scenery and what's around you, rather than bundling around trying to push another trolley around or taking a bag off my back and putting it back on, and the stresses and strains of that. I find it gives you so much more freedom and time to actually go and enjoy walking those fairways and enjoying it for what it is, and the reason that I'm here, that I genuinely couldn't be without it now.
And you're saying now with your sort of your wider sort of playing group that you've got here at Celtic Manor that sort of the bug spread a little bit.
Yeah, I gave someone a loan. They were intrigued as to what it was like to play with, so we swapped. I had to go on the push trolley and felt sick after about 9 holes, and he enjoyed the elegance of playing with a Stewart trolley. And by the time we got to the 18th hole, he'd had an order done in the basket, and I bought one. He was absolutely blown away, and that has ricocheted on to several other members. And I think over half of the group I play with now all play with Stewarts. And again, sing nothing but the same praise that I do. And that's just testament to the product that you've got. It's, you know, there's nothing else behind it other than it is just a fantastic companion to have out there on the golf course.
So when you look at the current field of the Brysons, the tinkerers, the instinctive players, maybe like Rory, so when you're picking the new members of your of the Reds team, who are the people that you think maybe they could do this?
Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? I think you'd have to model it on what I know of being in the Red Arrows and the people that I have worked in with the Red Arrows. And I think, being brutally honest, it's someone that's incredibly focused, that can put all of those distractions aside. So whether it be a crowd, whether it be whatever it is, concentrates on the job at hand and doing what needs to be done. And I don't think anybody in the current field of golf epitomises that more than Rory McIlroy winning his green jacket at the Masters this year. The focus that he had, given those trials and tribulations through those holes, to still get it done and achieve what he achieved, is clearly absolute focus. Concentrate on what he needed to concentrate on. I can only imagine the thought of having to tee it up in a playoff hole against Justin Rose was clearly informed that day, to put it down the 18th the way he did, and have that to go and achieve the career Grand Slam, is the kind of focus that sticks the same smile on my face and chasing the boyhood dream that I chased. So if I was to pick a wingman out of the field of professionals, it would have to be, right now, Rory McIlroy.
So how does it feel to be back on the golf course?
Do you know what? It's fantastic. It's I don't know. For me, it's just somewhere that you can come and escape just everything in life, isn't it? You know, I've had a few medical dramas the last couple of years. You know, busy life at home with 3 young kids. You know, chores up the yin yang with, you know, as we know, who runs the house. So it's a complete escape. You know, coming out here and just having 4 hours catching up with, you know, mates, and I find I can just switch off everything else in life, and just it's a complete escape. I can here enjoy myself in my happy place, and it just puts a smile back on my face, you know. Yeah. After some tough times, it's a real place of solace.
So how long has it been?
2 years. 2 years. So sadly, you know, diagnosed stage 4 cancer, and you think that's it, life's over. You know, I've got an impending life of hospital and treatment and chemo, and you know, 2 years of that has been a bit of a struggle, bit hard, tough times. You know, on my back in hospital for a few months, and then chemo every other week, which just drains all the energy out of you. So, you know, considering 6 months ago I was in an intensive care unit, and here we are on a fantastic golf course, you know, playing golf in the sunshine here in South Wales. It feels slightly surreal, but at the same time, it's fantastic. It's just great to be back.
You've had some health issues,
yes, to say the least,
over the last couple of years. Do you want to give us a bit of an outline as to?
Yeah, absolutely. I was, you know, fortunate to go and do that boyhood dream. Finished on the highest of highs. Looked at myself after 17 years of military service in the Air Force. Conducted time on the front line on operations. Went and fulfilled the boyhood dream of being a Red Arrows pilot, and had done everything I wanted to do. And then, well, I've dined out on an absolute high, and I left with nothing but the fondest memories. But it's time to put the family first, because they'd given up a lot for me. A lot for me to go and do that journey, be away from home a lot, wife bringing up 3 children, and it was time to put them first. And we've settled here in Cardiff, become an airline pilot, and put that behind me. A few years into really enjoying my new career, the new challenge of being an airline pilot, and from the highest of highs to very quickly felt what hit the lowest of lows when out of the blue I got diagnosed with cancer. So I was, about 2.5 years ago now, got diagnosed with bowel cancer. Managed to get through surgery and get that all fixed, and thinking I was done and clear. Got myself back to work as quick as I could, because getting itchy feet, being stuck at home and not in the air, it's my happy place up there. Year later, sadly, follow-up scan and been told that I was now stage 4, in a much more tricky kind of prognosis, and future not looking too great.
So at this point, sorry to interrupt, but at this point, what was your percentage of living through this that you were given?
Yeah, the diagnosis wasn't too great. I was looking at probably a couple of years at best, I think, given what was on the plate at the time, and the diagnosis I was faced with. But with surgery, there's an option of hopefully extending my life and giving myself a bit of time back. But with the amount of disease that was in my liver, sadly, I was a bit stuck. Thankfully, I managed to find a surgeon in London that was very experienced in the field, that could take surgery on at a high risk, which I did, because I want to be as long as I can. I've got a few more 18 holes to go and do, and I'm still chasing McIlroy down. So where there's a will, there's a way. Ended up on intensive care for 4 weeks, which was pretty gut-wrenching, being on your back, not knowing whether you're going to pull through. Ended up under 4 different consultants in 4 different fields. The wife uncertain of my future, as well as me wondering what was going to happen next. But somehow I pulled through against the odds, I'm told. So battled through that, and I'm here now. Recently been told that I'm cancer-free at the moment. Admittedly staying stage 4, but it's a road ahead. But I'm in the best possible place I can be now. And the fact that we've been out and playing some golf, and less than 6 months ago I was horizontal in a bed in intensive care, to me sticks a very big smile on my face. We know that tomorrow is never guaranteed, and that's why we made the most of today.
And you said a few times when we were out there, it's just great to be out.
It is.
So just to sort of try and describe what do you really mean by that? And it's hard to put into words, but
it is hard to put into words. And I think for me, I've always been a happy-go-lucky guy. I've always enjoyed life to the full. I've partied hard. I've worked hard. I've been rewarded with amazing opportunities. It's certainly in my last role. But I think when you're hit with such a medical diagnosis and the position I found myself in, it puts a huge sort of reality check on life again, of all those super things that are important to you. My incredible family and wife that have been super supportive through this journey, both in the military and now in a quite testing medical time. But just how precious every day is, and how quickly that can be taken away from you without realizing. You never think it's going to be you. I never thought it was going to be me. It's always someone else it happens to. And then one day out of nowhere, found myself in that position and spent the last 2.5 years fighting my way out of it. But yeah, as I said, tomorrow's never guaranteed. Make the most of the here and now. Do what puts a smile on your face. And out there walking 18 holes in the beautiful South Wales weather today, that does put a big smile on my face. And more of that, being with the family, enjoying those moments, getting back to work and enjoying what that does for me as well. It's all really good, isn't it? Just to keep yourself in that positive space. And I think there's a lot to be said for a positive mindset. So if you keep your mind fairly positive, I think the body follows, and lots more good times to come, I'm sure.
So what role does golf sort of play in your continued recovery, and just generally, like say, putting a smile on your face? What is it about golf?
Well, it's the fact that not only does it go out and stick a smile on your face for the few good shots that you manage to pull out the bag, as I've proved today, but it's that mental well-being, clearly, of just that headspace we talked about, being out in beautiful scenery, being with your mates, having that banter, just being able to go out and walk. And that walking, that bit of exercise for me now, I haven't been able to exercise. I've been on my back mostly and intensive chemotherapy for the last year. I've taken a real whack. I'm fittest I've ever felt in my life. I feel, generally quite weak. So being able to go out there and walk and have a trolley or a bag that I haven't got to pay too much attention to because it's doing it for me, that makes a huge difference. It enables me that I can go and walk further, not have to take a bag on and off my back. I get to enjoy that time for longer, and golf will now be a huge part of my recovery, that I can go out there more frequently, hopefully, get my strength back up, walk more yards, and I'm certainly looking to use it as a tool to also raise money for charity throughout this next year, and hopefully help people that find themselves in the unfortunate position that I found myself in.
We've talked about this a lot already, but I really want to understand a bit more about the thought process of the little boy that wanted to be the Red Arrow. Just put that into words, how you felt, and then how that journey went.
Yeah. It was genuinely a real light bulb moment for me the first time I saw the Red Arrows. I was about 8 or 9 years old at an air show in the summer at St Athan, and I can still feel it now, seeing those planes do it for the first time. I'm sure anyone that's out there that may not have seen us and seen us for the first time, it is a bit of a take-back moment of what these, humans can achieve in an aeroplane so close together, doing incredible things. And for me, it really did blow my mind, and I just wanted to do it. I just had an absolute crave to go and do that as a career, because it just filled me with so much drive to go and get it and do it, and I never let go of it. I genuinely never let go of it. I never thought I'd achieve it, and I knew the stepping stones I had to do to get there, joining the Air Force and having a career on the front line flying fast jets before I'd even be able to apply. So there was all these hurdles along the way that you had to get through, and as I got closer and closer, you get a bit more nervous and nervous. But to have actually put that suit on and achieved that boyhood dream, that little 8 or 9-year-old boy that was thinking, I want to do that, and to have actually done it, incredibly surreal. But for me, just this lad that's grown up in Newport from a normal upbringing that anyone else would be, I would feel. I just hope that there's someone out there that can listen to that and understand, trust me, that if I can do it, you absolutely can. It's not just going to be a Red Arrows pilot. Whatever your dream might be, grasp it, chase it, and until something physically stops you from doing it, just keep on going, because the only way you'll ever know is by trying and not giving up.